Hello everybody. Today we will present the mathematics ICSE. This is our group member of next. Today we will talk about the topic. How much money do you get in a week? The first, background and objective. 2, population and sample. 3, data collection. And 4, data analysis. And the last one is conclusion.
So we're gonna start about our backgrounds. In response to the growing discussion about teenager financial awareness, the survey explores weekly pocket money among grade 10 students. By examining students' monetary resources, we aim to gain insights into families' economic dynamics, financial management skills, and socio-economic variations within our local and international students' community.
And what objective could we be having, such as number one, to provide a foundational dataset that can inform future discussion about teenage financial education and economic awareness. Second is to generate insights that may help parents to understand the economic experience and financial perspective of grade 10 students in our local educational community.
For the population, we use student all over Seenuan. For approximately 4,000 people. An example, we use the stratified sampling designs and the standards tables of sample size for 42 samples. Next one.
Hello. Okay, and then collection. The data is collection by using questionnaire in the appearance of from questions sent through multiple sources of media such as Line, Discord, Facebook, and Messenger.
Hi! Anyway, let's talk about analytics. Okay, so let's start with the hypothesis, which is that we thought that the weekly allowance received by high school students in this region will be distributed across a range of amounts. We think that with the majority of students falling within a moderate middle, so maybe around maybe 1,000 baht. Probably that's what we thought at first anyway. So on to the next slide. So this is the Google form that we did. We chose to have a range of money instead of a specific amount so that we could contain and differentiate between the answers easier. And here are the results. I can also zoom in for you so that you can see it clearly. This is the range of classes that we have. We can see that most of them are M6 with a whopping 26.2% out of all of the students, with M1 coming in second with 19%, and with the range of age, we can also see that despite having M6 as the most answers, actually the numbers could probably say otherwise, since most of the age that the participants shows are actually between maybe 12, 13, maybe even 16. So maybe there's some differentiation between the two. And moving on to the amount of money, we are going to go in detail on this topic very shortly. So I think about this is that from the graph, we could see that the majority of students, 28.6% actually have a range of money that they get from a weekly basis, from between 2,500 baht to 3,000 baht. But when we did some testing, our results actually came in a different light other than we expected it to. So looking forward to that. And the gender ratio, which is not surprising since our school is mostly consisted of male students, we can see that 69% of all the participants in the survey are males. Now, moving on to the next slide, which is the analysis. So our data that we gathered will be analyzed by calculating the mean, median, mode, standard deviation in order to interpret the level of preferences that each student has. So let's organize data into frequency distribution. So we can see that out of all of these, right, so 1 to 100 baht, 6 responses, 8 responses, 9, 8, 4, 7. So when counting all of them, we get 42. So when we organize it, we can get to calculating all of these. So let's start with the mode. The mode is the easiest, which is the most frequently occurring value, which is in this case is actually 1,000 to 1,500 baht, since there's responses actually correlating with this more than our percentage actually suggests. Moving on to the median, we actually also have an archive containing the info. So to calculate the median, we'll use the cumulative frequency method, which is basically, since we will start counting from 1 to 500 and then we will add another count after the range. So we're going to combine them together until there's 42. So when we combine the 42, we divide it by half, which is 2, to get the position in which the median will be in, which is the 21st position, which falls between the 1,000 to 1,500 baht range. So here's the archive. So when we're looking at this here, we can see that from maybe like 5 going up to approximately about 42, we can see that our median rests between about here, with the 21st value being here. So the 21st value is right here. So the point in which the range will be in is about approximately here. So it's almost 1,500, but it's not really there. It's about approximately there. The median is it's not a full value. That's so from the calculation, now we are going to moving on to the mean with a histogram. So to calculate the mean, what we are going to do is that first we're going to calculate the midpoint. So what we do is we take these ranges. Since it's a range, it is not an exact value, we have to change it a bit so that we could use them in calculations, which in this case we're going to cut them by half. All of them will be cut by half. So that means that now 1 to 500 will only be 250, and times the amount of responses that each of the ranges get. So we'll get all these values here, which combines to 61,000, and divided by the total number of responses, we will get the mean, which is 1,452 baht. Okay, so moving on. So now we're going to go to the fourth step, which is the standard deviation. So what we're going to do is first we're going to calculate the variance first, and then we're going to find the standard deviation by using the square root. So the formula for variance is sigma x minus mean to the power of 2 divided by n. So we are going to use this formula with every single range, like I said from the last point, which is that we're going to change from 1 to 500 to an exact value, and that goes for all the other numbers, all the other ranges. And now when we calculate all of them, we get the total value of 19 million, about 19 million. And so we divided them by the total number of responses that we got, which is 42, so it equals to 454,000 approximately. So when we got that value, we just square root it to get the standard deviation, which accumulates to 674.06 baht. Now, so here's the histogram with a bell curve, and it also shows the standard deviation. So we can see here that the most, or the frequency or probability density, is between 1,000 and 500, like we expected, like how we calculated it in the first 2 points. And the other thing is that this is the mean right here, about in the middle, and there's the lower half, which is about 770, and there's the upper half, which is about like 2,000. But we can see that the most, which is between the range, so it's about here. So when it is most dense, so the where it is most dense is in the middle, about like 1,000 to maybe like almost 2,000, but it's probably in like the 1,000 to 1,500 range, as we can see here from the bell curve, with the most being here. Now, to summarize, our mode that we got is the range which has the most frequency is 1,000 to 1,500 baht, and the median is also the range of 1,000 to 1,500 baht too. And the mean here is 1,452, so it's about the upper end of here. It's the middle. Now standard deviation, like I said from the last point, which is summarized in conclusion, the survey data suggests that there is a considerable variation in the weekly allowances received by students, with the majority clustered around the 1,000 to 1,500 baht range. But a sizable number also receive significantly higher or lower amounts. There's still variation in here. So the median allowance is in the 1,000 to 1,500 baht range. Now, what does this tell us? Well, there's actually this here. Sorry. So there's actually this, a graph that I get it from Totally Awesome, a website which actually asks almost the same questions as we do, which this one being how often do you give pocket money to your child. Now there's multiple countries listing here with Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, Vietnam, etc. So we can see that Australia here is on a weekly. There's a large percentage on weekly, and there's also a large percentage on giving money only when they need it. And Singapore also focuses on weekly, with daily being maybe a close second, and only when they need it like a third, and Vietnam also being like that. But when we look in Thailand, over here in Thailand, we can see that almost 75%, they often give money to their children daily. Not weekly, not monthly, but daily, almost daily. So other than getting money, a lot of money, in fact, they also got it pretty much very frequently too, as seen here from the graph that I've shown. Now, how does this correlate to our point? Well, here, how much pocket money do you give to your child in months? So monthly, even though Thailand is not the first place, in the first place, it is still on third place with a whopping number of $80 in total, comparing to the fourth place, which is Malaysia, which basically amounts to almost half of how much Thailand gave to their own children. So not only are our children getting money very frequently, they're also getting money a lot. They are having allowances more than they could ever need. Now, there's also the other question, in which they asked all the children, in a normal week, which of these do you spend your money on? 66% said that they spent on snacks, 55% said drinks, and 42% said toys. We can clearly see a trend here where children are not buying necessities that they actually need. Like 27% here, only 27% said that they are buying stationery, and 33% said that they will use it to eat out, basically going to a local restaurant to actually eat. They would rather eat snacks than eating nutritious foods in restaurants. Or they would rather buy toys than buy actual clothes or footwear that they may need in the future. And so it tells us that, like I said, there's a concerning trend of students having access to substantial weekly allowances, which may lead to excessive spending and poor financial habits. To address this, parents should reevaluate their approach into providing allowances. Maybe they should focus more on instilling financial responsibility and prepare their children for making independent money management in the future. Maybe take a proactive and educational stance somewhat. So, to help parents deal with this problem, we've actually conducted 2 advices which may be beneficial to parents all over the world in how they could address these problems effectively. So here they are. So first, which is reduce allowance amounts. So since many students receive high weekly allowances that may enable overspending, as seen from the graph that we have seen before, parents should maybe reconsider gradually lowering their allowances to moderate levels so that they could still cover essentials, but they would require budgeting. So that means that maybe their children would still be able to buy clothes or maybe buy other little things that they may want, but to do that they will have to actually calculate how much is that and how they are going to spend their money so that they could reach their goal. it also instills a financial responsibility onto them as a bonus. Now, the other thing is that transitioning to less frequent disbursements. So basically, what parents may do, which is they could shift from weekly to bi-weekly or monthly allowances. So in this case, Thailand could probably change from giving money to children daily to give money to them weekly instead, because this actually encourages long-term financial planning and budgeting skills rather than impulse spending. So it helps children think about what they're going to do, how are they going to plan their spending, because the more you give in less time is going to result to them thinking that, okay, I only got this much money, which is still a lot of money, but it's only in this span. I'm having to use this in the span of a month. They're going to think on how they're going to use it, how they're going to manage it, and they are going to lower their decision on spending things impulsively, since they have to calculate or accord each and everything to the budget. So that is the advice we gave to parents all over the world, and we reached the end of the slides. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy our slides. Thanks again.